A foam roller is cheap but a little bit boring. A massage gun is expensive but very exciting. Which one is best? I will tell you because I've had the gun for a week now and I've had a chance to form a pretty conclusive opinion on it. The other two things I did this week were watch Free Solo on Netflix, little rock climbing man, and decide to move the mountain bikes from the end of the garage because they were taking up too much space. The doing of those two things together means that the mountain bikes now live above my head. A highly impressive setup involving carabiners and ropes and little funky knots that I learnt online and pulleys and locking clam cleats. And there they are, just swinging in the air, out of the way. Not entirely sure it's safe to stand underneath them. The Hyperice Hypervolt massage gun, percussion massager, shaky thing. This is not a thorough in-depth review at all. This is very simply a quick video to answer the one question that I had when I was looking at buying one of these a couple of weeks ago. Is this a piece of crap? Because I thought they probably were. No matter how many times Facebook invaded my subconscious to try and advertise me these things, I was pretty convinced they were the massage equivalent of the little electrical pads that you slap on your fat stomach to wake up with a six-pack. But I was wrong. These things, bizarrely, work as advertised. If that's the only motivation you need to rush off and drop 400 quid on one, crack on. If you want a bit more information, let me just break this down into 3 easy points. Why did I get one? Why did I get this one? And what has it done for me? So I got one primarily because it's a gadget and it's shaped a bit like a laser gun. But additionally, I was in pain. I had run 2 weeks ago now a half marathon. A couple of weeks before that, I'd run a 50k. And I'd done a bunch of training in the meantime. I'd upped my running mileage a lot. And as a result, I had some bad calf pain after that marathon that extended down to my Achilles. Now, normally, I would just foam roll that. I'm a big fan of the foam roller. I would give it some rest, maybe a little bit of ice, and after a few weeks I'll be back to normal when I can carry on increasing my training slowly and sensibly. But I didn't have time. I had a race that was due a few days later. In fact, it was a race that I did this weekend. I had another one coming up this next weekend. I needed to recuperate much quicker. And so it's at that point that Mark Zuckerberg does his thing, and before I know it, it's 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm lying in bed frustrated, and I'm looking at vibrating gadgets on the internet. Insert your own jokes. Now, I was pretty convinced, as I say, that I thought these things were a piece of junk, 99% sure of that, but it's a gadget, it looks like a gun. You can't fight that sort of compulsion. So before I know it, it's 8 o'clock in the morning and I'm 400 quid down. So why did I get this one? Well, there seems to be 2 sectors to this marketplace. You can go on Amazon and you can spend 50, 60 quid and you can buy something that looks a little bit like a rebadged power tool. It looks like someone's just taken the woodcutter off the end of a jigsaw, slapped on a rubber ball, and are trying out a different market. Interestingly, enough of those are available in bright pink that makes me wonder if vibrating massage tool is not their first attempt to break out of their traditional marketplace. The most common negative feedback from users of those guns on Amazon in the little comment section was that when they were being used, they were just far too noisy. The gun, not the users. This end of the marketplace is dominated by equipment that is just so stupidly expensive that you just assume there must be something else going on. The most common feedback on this particular model was that it was incredibly quiet, so it's where my £400 went. It is not available in bright pink, and it works very straightforwardly. 3 settings. That is as loud as it gets. Clearly, it is not a silent device by any stretch, but it is not noisy either. You can easily use that while you're watching a movie, even with somebody else without annoying them, listening to the radio. Today, I took a call when I was on hold, I was using it. It's perfectly usable in a normal environment. Still sounds a bit like a power tool. I used it on the bad leg. And I'm going to assume that if you're watching this, you've already had probably a sports massage, done some foam rolling, so you understand what that sensation is like, what the benefits of that are like. This is like those two things, foam rolling and sports massage, given to you by somebody, combined into one in just a far more effective way. First of all, you can take your time as though you were foam rolling at home, and you can focus on exactly the spot you want to work on for as long as you want to work on it. You can find the tight bits and you can really work into that area. You don't need to move on until you're happy that that has loosened off. But unlike a foam roller, you can get really, really targeted with this. You find exactly the spot that hurts. You simply focus on it. You can go as slow as you like. And after a very short time indeed, it relaxes, the pain goes away and you can move on. Far more targeted than a foam roller, and far more targeted even than using a massage ball, which I've also used. It simply can't compete with this for targeting specific areas. But like a traditional massage that is given to you, it's something that you can do in a relaxed way. I don't find foam rolling, although I do enjoy it, I do enjoy the benefits, to be relaxing. It's a bit like yoga. You need to put in some effort to get some reward back. It's a physical activity, especially if you're doing things like calves, hamstrings, where ideally you'd prop yourself up off the floor and move backwards and forwards. It's a physical activity. I still do it, but it's part of my training regime. It's not something that I just do when I'm chilled out and want to have a bit of therapy. You can just be chilling out, watching TV, think I've got 20 minutes spare, 5 minutes even, grab this and unwind whatever it is that's particularly tied to that moment. So, as soon as I got it, I went to work on the calf, working down to the Achilles, especially using this little attachment that goes either side of whatever you want to go either side of, and it was miraculous. That's an exaggeration. It wasn't a miracle. It was very, very good. The next day I woke up and the Achilles swelling, which had resulted in this Achilles tendon being literally twice the size of this one, had gone down almost to the point where if I wasn't still in a mild amount of discomfort from it, I wouldn't even be able to tell that it was a problem. It was the fastest recuperation I've ever had of a swollen Achilles. Since then, I've carried on using it a few times a day. I just gently work on the calf. It starts off a little bit tender, it relaxes by the end of it. It doesn't take very long at all. I've used it elsewhere as well. This race that I had the weekend was an obstacle course race, so there's lots of swinging around on monkey bars and stuff. My forearms were absolutely shot. Normally, I take a few days off of training anything that involves holding on to something heavy because they hurt. I used this before I went to the gym, started off tender, spent 4 or 5 minutes on each side, relaxed the muscles off, went and trained, did chins, rows, pull-ups, felt absolutely fine. Again, the improvement was bizarrely good. So it simply works. What else? Boring stuff. It comes with a variety of attachments for different types of prodding it yourself. It has 3 speed settings. The battery lasts for a good couple of hours. It's reasonably lightweight. I can chuck it in my kit bag and take it to a race I'm going. Actually, I'm driving to Scotland in a couple of days to race. Driving home after that is a prime time for my legs to start cramping and tightening up. I simply pull over, and maybe don't even need to pull over. Safety first. I pull over and I can massage any problems away. Will I pull over? I probably wouldn't even bother pulling over. Depends what I need to massage. Would a 50 quid one from Amazon that is bright pink work in exactly the same way? No idea. Quite possible. Buy one, have a go. Just don't leave it out on the side when you have guests round. And that is it. Nice and simple. Oh, and the obstacle course race. If you're moderately interested in what I did, it's a nuclear race based in the UK down Essex. Nuclear races are, they have a little bit more mud than I really like, but it's a fun day out. I take one of my kids along, he comes with me. It's a little bit less serious than the Spartan races that I do that are a bit more competitive, for me at least. Have a look, because I have tons of footage from it and no other video that I could possibly stick it into. So